At Leaders for Impact, we see business do good and create change fast and at scale. Business Reframed is where we talk to the leaders who drive that change. People who don't wait for permission. People who bring us together to create a better world through people, profit and purpose. Business Reframed. Conversations with change makers at Leaders for Impact.
Welcome, Anthony. It's wonderful to have you on the couch for our for one of our first podcasts, which is fantastic.
Thank you. Tell us a little.
Thank you. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name is Anthony Carroll. I'm the head of sustainability at Area Management Group. Area Management Group manage Bankstown and Camden airports, and Bankstown Airport is the fourth busiest airport in Australia.
Wow, I actually wouldn't have realised that.
Yes.
And in terms of your role there, where do you sit in terms of, are you sitting on the leadership team?
I'm part of the leadership team, but not the executive.
Right.
Yeah.
And how important is that in terms of having that visibility for a role in sustainability at the leadership level?
Very important. It allows us to be empowered, and we've got really good support from our executive, our board, and also our owner, which is Aware Super.
Fantastic. Now, you've been in the sustainability space for close to 20 years now.
That's right.
You must have seen a lot of change, a lot of things have shifted over that time. But first of all, let me ask you why? Why did you actually get into this space, and what was the inspiration?
So I started my career as a draftsman, and after 16 or so years, I worked on a lot of the Olympic projects, a lot of very large construction projects, and realised that I didn't want to do that anymore. I just lost the love for it. So I was working for a company in 2005, and I was working with a sustainability consultant who was just so energetic and really inspiring, and that sort of started my journey in the environment and the sustainability space. And here I am now, coming on some 20 years later.
So a couple of things. You've been in the sustainability sector for 20 years now, and you might have been one of the first. What was the inspiration for you actually taking that journey into that sector?
I worked initially in the construction industry as a draftsman for close to 16 years, and after working on some very large projects, having my own business, I decided that I'd had enough and I really didn't want to see another drawing. So I changed careers, and I was working for a company. And in 2005, I was working with a very energetic sustainability consultant who sort of planted a seed. Then now 20 years later, I'm now the head of sustainability at Area Management Group.
And when you reflect on your journey, on your leadership journey into where you are now, do you reflect back in terms of what were some of the pivotal moments for you to actually end up heading sustainability for such a large company?
So the environment and sustainability sectors have changed a lot. One of the most important things about being a sustainability leader is to have enthusiasm and also to be open to new ideas and new technologies as they arise. The sector's changed very much. The environment sector was around compliance, contamination, and the sustainability area was new. It was looking at water, waste. Now, sustainability has gone so much further. It's now community social responsibility, it's governance, it's energy efficiency, it's NABERS ratings, it's Green Star ratings. So it's all about carbon reduction, and I'm looking forward to a future for our current generation, but also future generations.
So you would have seen quite a shift in terms of when you started and even that changing and evolving role.
Right.
How did you keep up with everything that was going on and stay ahead of the pack in the sector?
Qualifications for a start.
Yep.
The other one is, having moved through different organisations, they've had different focuses on their environment and sustainability. So you take the best out of each role and bring that into the next role. And where I am now, I feel very empowered, very supported by a great executive team, board, and our investor who's Aware Super.
Fantastic. And one of the things that I know that we talk about a lot is that sphere of influence for sustainability leaders within their organisations. So tell me a little bit about the Area Management Group. what that company does and how does sustainability fit into the remit of the business?
So Area Management Group operates Bankstown and Camden airports. They're two of 21 federally leased government airports. So they're the sites owned by the federal government and managed by a private entity, which is Area Management Group. We have 3 business streams. One is aviation, one is property, and the third is an energy retailer. So we run our own internal embedded energy networks. As far as embedding sustainability, it's really important to have across all aspects of the organisation. So it's bringing in the operations team, the aviation team, as well as sustainability team, bring all the partners to the table and see where their roles can all fit into the sustainability. But it has to be supported by the exec.
Yeah, I was going to say that it's often sustainability in a business starts off with well-intended employees, doesn't it? And to make the move and to shift the dial in a business, it really needs to be at the table and have that influence.
Yeah, and it also is really important that sustainability should be part of your business as usual, not an add-on to your business as usual. And companies now are seeing that to have business initiatives and supporting their employees is beneficial. If you've got an engaged workforce that feels that their values are the same as their own, they will work better for your organisation.
Yeah. And tell us some real tangible things that you can reflect on that having sustainability embedded in the business has meant for that business in terms of profitability and success. Can you pinpoint some things that you go, well, it's because of this approach and because we've been a bit of a leader in this space that we've actually seen some real business results?
So we've got just installed 4.5 megawatts of solar on a couple of our newer buildings. That gives us the opportunity to retail that energy. It also means that we've been able to offset our own business emissions through powering our business through renewable energy.
And that's a great example, Anthony, of actually going, because sometimes when we talk about ESG and sustainability, we think it's a nice to have, and we know that business as usual doesn't cut it anymore. So this is a business imperative, and that's a great tangible example where you can go, as a result of this, it's actually making a profit.
Yep.
And we need to talk about that, don't we?
And we can add EV charging stations or another revenue stream, but it's also good for the environment, having electrification of cars.
So we've talked about the impact that your sustainability strategy can have for your business in terms of profitability, which is fantastic. What about your customers' expectations?
So just recently we completed our second materiality assessment, and we looked at our ESG factors and basically asked our customers and also members of the community what they expected us as an airport to be doing. And it was really, really good to see that the number one was the direction that we were going was exactly where our customers thought, but it also included metrics such as community investment. And one of the things that we do as a business is we sponsor a Little Wings plane, giving them 65 additional missions that they can do each year. And Little Wings is a charitable organisation that flies sick kids and their families in and out of the city, basically for medical treatment.
And back to the customers, have you seen a real shift in their expectation in terms of your contribution, not only to society, but your impact on the environment? Has that shifted over the years in terms of higher expectations?
I'm not sure that it's higher expectations. It's reinforced through the second materiality assessment. The first one that we did a few years ago sort of opened the doors, but that was really the beginning of our sustainability journey as an organisation back in 2021. And now we're just building on that and making it a lot more, putting a lot more meat on the bones.
Wonderful, fantastic. And if you reflect beyond your own organisation, what's happening out there in the sustainability sector? The good, the bad, the great, what have you seen shift?
I think there's evidence of greenwashing in some organisations, which is something that we just need to make sure that we can eliminate that. But the biggest change probably at the moment is the compulsory sustainability reporting standards. So that's now bringing companies to focus on sustainability, to undertake climate change risk assessments, so they can then identify what the future risks of climate change are on their business and their bottom line.
And that's going to be a great thing, isn't it? Because it's really enforcing that reporting.
It's an open book as well.
Yeah. And you're also part of the Sustainability Leaders Leadership Hub as for Leaders for Impact Network.
That's right.
How has that peer environment, bringing together sustainability leaders like yourself around a table, impacted you as a leader and also the work that you do?
So the Sustainability Hub has been a fantastic opportunity to bring together sustainability people across multiple organisations. One thing that you find when you're working in sustainability is that you're the only person normally in an organisation, so you're a bit isolated. You don't have people that you can bounce ideas off, and you're inventing the wheel at the same time as everyone else in their organisations is doing exactly the same. So the great opportunity through the Sustainability Leaders Network is to be able to bounce the same ideas off each other, support each other, provide resources to each other. So we share different bits and pieces. We've got an app that you put in your objectives for quarterly, yearly, and basically hold yourself and everyone holds each other accountable for all those different initiatives that you put in. And the other one is we've got a great WhatsApp app. So our WhatsApp group, we send around ideas, conferences, different papers that are going around, brochures or organisation, so lots of different information, lots of different information about what's happening in the sector and sharing ideas.
And I've watched your WhatsApp group as part of that hub, and you guys, share things every single day, and that must be helping you amplify your impact in terms of keeping you up to date, keeping up, and probably reducing a bit of loneliness for you in your role.
I've got a second person that I work with, so I'm not alone in my role, so I'm very lucky in that space. But it's good to find out what is happening, and it's very hard to be across everything that's going on in the sector. There's so much happening, and we're also in a very hard to abate sector being aviation. So there's also a lot of things happening in the aviation space for decarbonisation and looking at net zero outcomes. So it's very hard to be across everything. So the network's great to be able to pick up little snippets along the way.
Yeah, and I guess that's really important, isn't it? There's so much change happening in the business community. There's so much change happening in the sustainability sector, and how do you continually keep updated and take advantage of that and look at those opportunities and the impacts in terms of for you and your business?
Joining lots of newsletters.
Listening to lots of podcasts, all of that.
Podcasts. I'm also part of the Australian Airports Association Sustainability Working Group as well. So that's a combination of several airports, and we're trying to feed information into the Jet Zero Council, which is set up by the Commonwealth.
And how do you promote the work that you're doing? Because I would think that people wouldn't be sitting around going, "Oh, Bankstown Airport have a commitment to society and environment." It wouldn't necessarily be on their mind. So how do you capitalise on the fact that you're doing all this great stuff?
We've got lots of information on our website. And one of the greatest achievements I think I've had or a couple of the greatest achievements I've had in the last couple of years in this role is having organised our scope 1, 2 and 3 emissions. We've also published our first sustainability report in 2023, which is available on our website, and now our second one, financial year 2024.
And you should be very proud of that, because there's not many organisations that have looked at all 3 scopes. So that's fantastic. And that reporting and getting that message out there.
That's right.
Which is brilliant. you've had a really interesting leadership journey in terms of where you've come from. You've talked about, being in your own business and then falling into this sector. You've also had a big leadership journey with the SCS as well. So tell me a little bit about that and how that's played into you as a leader today.
So I was a volunteer with SCS for 19 years, and I started right at the bottom and going out, cutting the trees, working on the roofs and all that sort of thing, then became a team leader, then moved through the organisation as a rescue officer, then deputy commander, and then I spent 5 years as deputy commander at my local SCS headquarters, managing multiple evacuations, large storm events, etc. And
And what made you get into that?
Had a friend. And it was as simple as someone from the Sailing Club was involved in the storms in 1999 and the large hailstorm, and was talking about that, and I thought, that sounds interesting.
But there must have been a reason why you stayed so long, and the fact is we're having more of these storm events and that are happening right around the world, but certainly in Australia. The need there is huge in terms of that volunteering. Why'd you stay? What'd you love about it?
It's the challenge. As simple as the challenge, and the feeling that you have when you've achieved something that's really valuable, and being able to sort of walk away, close the doors, close the gate, and just go, that was a really good, well done job, or job well done.
And how's it affected how you lead in the business in terms of all of that volunteering?
I think having the leadership roles has just helped me to be more comfortable as a leader.
The sustainability sector is obviously complex and can be quite tricky, and especially in your sector. So tell me some of those challenges that you see and some of the things that you're coming up against.
So aviation's a very hard industry to decarbonise. One of the reasons is the age of aircraft, and aircraft is generally kept for over 30 years in service. So therefore, you're not getting the changes in engines and things like that to more efficient engines and planes. Then you've got the technologies around the fuel of those aircraft is not there at the moment. So there's various ideas of SAF, which is sustainable aviation fuel, coming from different feedstocks. The supply of those is not there available in the world at the moment. Then you've got the electrification of aircraft, and electrification means batteries. Batteries are very heavy, and therefore the more a plane weighs, the less it can travel. Then you've also got new technologies such as hydrogen and potentially ammonia as fuel sources for either the engines or to run batteries or electric motors. So those technologies aren't fully developed yet, and are going to take some time to develop over time, over the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years. So I can see that there'll be exponential growth in the technologies in those, but they're not there at the moment. The other thing is that the forecast for the number of drones and electric vertical takeoff and landing aircraft will then require things like vertiports to be able to operate those aircraft. And we as a business also need to have a seat at the table when it comes to the legislation and the changes that are required to regulation around the operation of those assets.
And it is very complex, isn't it? Because on one hand, your businesses are trying to do the right thing in the sustainability space, and then we've got this catch up with the technology.
That's right.
A great example is, we're all putting solar on our roofs and all of that sort of stuff, but we have an issue around the fact that solar panels don't last as long anymore, and we don't have the ability to recycle them. So how do you make those trade-offs in your business and looking at, telling the story and driving that change, I guess? So
there is now some recycling options just starting for solar panels, which is actually good. But the other thing is the technology around batteries, etc. So currently we look at lithium-ion batteries and potential for fire risk, etc. So there's also going to be new technologies around battery storage. But the other thing is the cost of batteries. So when we look at having large-scale batteries, they're very expensive at the moment. And one of the things that probably holds back a business is not wanting to be the first person out of the gate. We've looked at batteries and decided that we're not quite ready there yet. for several reasons, but one of those is the cost and the cost return.
Anthony, one of the things that we hear from our sustainability leaders in the network is one of the biggest strengths that you need is that power of influence, and getting the message out there. Talk us through in terms of how that plays out in your business and what are some of the challenges, but also some of the wins that you've had.
So some of the challenges are really centred around whether everybody is interested and whether everyone wants to come on board. What we do is every quarter we have a all colleague group session where we go through what is happening in the business, and generally sustainability is one of those topics. So we talk about some of the achievements that we've had in the last quarter, talk about our latest set of reporting, talking about some initiatives that are coming up and some projects that we're working on.
And have you seen over the last 5 years since you've been in that role, have you seen a shift in people, coming on board and really embracing the work that you're doing?
I think there has been a shift. A lot of organisations see the sustainability or the environment person as more someone who puts the brakes on, but in area management group, it's right there at the front. So it's really inspiring.
And I would suggest that the conversations that you have around the Sustainability Hub are very much around that in terms of where sustainability fits in the business, how much of a business imperative it is within that business,
and how to influence,
and how to influence. So, in terms of reflecting on your journey, how do you think that you've honed your influencing skills to get some of that success?
I think it's really given me the confidence to know that I'm going down the right journey. As I mentioned earlier, where you're generally the single person in an organisation, you don't know whether you're going in the right direction and whether you should actually be going down this road or this road. The Sustainability Leaders Network has really indicated that, yes, you are actually going down the right road. There's other people that are going down the same road as you, and you can all share all your ideas as you're walking down the road.
And it's probably much more powerful than just attending a conference, isn't it? In terms of just having that real and practical advice and support, and for you to be able to share what you're doing and get that validation. Is that a big part of what you get around that table?
That's a really important thing, and it's also giving validation to everyone else's ideas as well. So it's not a single-sided conversation. It's definitely someone will say, "Oh, I'm going down this line. Oh, yes, we've done that. Try this," and we support each other through that mechanism.
And if we take a broader context of leading in sustainability in this country, what do you think that's going to look like in the next? What are some of the qualities of being a sustainability leader, which is an impact leader in a sense? What are some of the qualities that you think are going to be important?
You've got to be open to new ideas. The way that technology is moving, there's going to be roles that in organisations that currently don't exist. They haven't been invented yet. So therefore, you need to work along with technology as it changes and be prepared for the opportunities that come out of that from both a technical but also a sustainability perspective.
And that makes it a pretty exciting space to work in, hey?
It does.
And I know that one of your strengths is curiosity, right? So how does that sort of play out for you in terms of just being curious about what's going on and keeping up to date with things?
I like to learn. It's, reading technical papers and finding out what is happening in not just this sector, but in sustainability across the board feeds that curiosity.
And I think that's a really sort of key strength for you, Anthony, and also because you're so curious and you talked about that reading and the technical part of it, because a lot of sustainability is pretty technical, isn't it, in terms of the compliance and the new legislation, and it's a lot to get your head around.
It is. And my wife jokes that I don't read novels, so I read journal articles and things like that. So
you're passionate about journal articles. That's awesome. And what about for you? Like, we talk about somebody's legacy and the legacy that they want to leave. What do you think your legacy will be?
I'd like to have worked in the industry, particularly the aviation sector, and worked on projects that help to decarbonise that sector, and work on projects that make a tangible difference to the planet as it sits now, but also for our future generations.
And on that, how optimistic you are in terms of the future? Because, you know, there's a lot of stuff being thrown our way at the moment in terms of media and bad stories, and it's in our feeds every day. How optimistic are you when you sort of look ahead?
I don't think we're ready yet, but I think I'm optimistic for the future. I think things are going to catch up, and exponential technological change will help to get us there.
You've obviously got, and we talk to sustainability leaders about their big remits that they have in their roles. Can you pinpoint something that, you know, when you reflect back, that you were really proud of in terms of getting off the ground or starting?
Yes, we were approached by a company, AMSL Aero, who are developing a eVTOL aircraft, and they wanted to install hydrogen. So that hasn't been installed in an airport in Australia. Bankstown was the first one to have hydrogen installed, but it raised a lot of questions. Everyone remembers the Hindenburg disaster, or knows of it, and therefore everyone goes, "Oh, hydrogen, really dangerous." We then assisted them and worked with our insurers, their insurers, Fire Brigade, the regulatory authority, the airport environment officer that I deal with, in order to get those approvals and to end up being the first airport in Australia to have a hydrogen installation. And that's a really good achievement to aid a new technology, and that allows them to start their test cell and potentially power this aircraft from hydrogen.
How exciting is that? And it sounds to me, when you reflect on that achievement, you had to collaborate and deal with a lot of entities in terms of making that happen.
There was.
And is that something that happens in your day-to-day life at work in terms of that collaboration piece?
Very much so. I work with our property team, our safety team, the aviation team. I work with my regulators on a daily basis.
And collaboration isn't easy, is it? You know, people say, "Oh, yeah, we'll just collaborate on this," but it's not easy to get right. So clearly, in terms of what you bring to the table as a leader, that's a real strength of yours.
I think it's really important to have those relationships, and without having active working relationships, things just move so much slower.
So tell me why you love working at Area Management Group.
It's a company that is into investment and growth. So in the last 10 years, the business has committed $530 million into capital works and project works, new hangars, and we've got $120 million worth of projects currently in the pipeline. And that's just really exciting as well, working for a company that's still growing. It's very having a great executive team who are just so driven for that success, empowers you to be successful.
So how important is having a really positive and open culture to you achieving your sustainability goals in that business?
So in our business, we've got great support from our executive, and that rolls down to you, or particularly me in my role, that I feel empowered to be able to undertake my job, which is really important when you've got a great culture and you're working with a great bunch of people that all want to help you achieve your goal.
And final question for you, what's next for you, Anthony? If you look ahead in the next sort of 2 years.
Probably just to continue to grow. Yeah, to continue to grow. Currently in my role, I don't have any desire to change roles. So it's growth.
And that's great that you don't have any desire to change roles, because we need you exactly where you are and doing the great work that you do. So thanks for being on the couch today as my guest in our first podcast. Really interesting sector that you work in, Anthony, and just thanks for sharing your insights and your reflections in terms of what's happening. And let's continue to watch you grow and develop as part of the Sustainability Leaders Hub and the great work that you're doing. Thank you.
Thank you.